Okay, are you ready for TWIM trivia?
Yeah, am I allowed to read TWIM trivia?
No,
Okay, I won't read it.
don't read it. I'm just going to ask you questions and you're going to see if you know the answer.
Okay, yeah, I forgot. I like this a lot. Okay.
I know. It's super fun.
Looking for a cool, delicious way to beat the summer heat? Try Postma's refreshing cold beverages. Enjoy a creamy Postma frappe made with milk and just the right touch of sweetener for a smooth, energizing treat. Or dive into a rich Postma milkshake, perfect for those sunny days when you want something tasty and satisfying. Postum gives you that delightful caffeine-free boost with every sip. This summer, chill out with Postum. Refreshment you can feel good about.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Mormons with your host, the TWIM siblings. I'm Matt. Along with me is Melissa.
Hi, Matt. I'm Melissa. I am so happy to be part of the TWIM siblings team. It is my honor to present this fabulous podcast with you every month.
Our listeners might have noticed, because I know Melissa did, that there was not an episode over the 4th of July. And so we're going to cover 2 weeks worth of content
Don't worry, you didn't miss much. We'll be able to pop this right out.
Did you know, I think that the church takes the month of July off. Not like you don't go to church in the month of July, but like church leadership.
Right.
July is like their month off.
But what if we didn't go to church 1 month a year?
We would choose
What
July.
if that was the thing? We would choose July 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a good month to not have to go to church. I mean, we love going to church, but if you had to choose it. Okay. We're going to open the mailbag, Melissa. We got
All right.
a listener comment. JSJ Design wrote, I enjoyed the interview the TWIM siblings did with the federal judge. I don't care a lot about politics, but it was fascinating to hear his stories about the Supreme Court and their interactions with the church. I also like his ideas for coming together at a time when everyone seems to be so divided. Great interview.
I agree. What was his name again? Judge
Thomas Griffith.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I loved that interview. I learned a lot from him. He was funny. Yeah, thanks for listening to our interviews, listeners. You can keep catching those throughout the summer. We drop one every 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah, and they're really interesting. I've been learning a lot.
I'm kind of offended that this listener doesn't care a lot about politics. Doesn't that just seem mean and just hurtful?
It's definitely targeted at you specifically as a political scientist to let you know that what you do is not important in the world.
Yeah,
Nonetheless,
okay.
carry on.
I'll get over it. Hey, let's start with TWIM Takes, Melissa.
Okay, well, I'm excited about TWIM Takes this week. Have you been paying attention much to the social media? I know the answer.
Oh, no, I have not.
Well, maybe it's because there's so much happening in the world. I mean, there is a lot of actual news happening in the world right now, but on social media, what I've seen is not about that. It is about whether or not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is paying people, social media, shall we call them influencers, if they're paying influencers to create content that is pro-church.
So wait, it's a person who's already an influencer, or is the church trying to create their own influencers?
Oh, this would be paying people who already have a large audience. And some of them are like known LDS people, like
Mark Rober. Mark
Rober is known. Ballerina Farm is known, but not
the
quite.
Outdoor Boys.
Yeah, not quite that popular. Although that could be happening. I don't know. But yeah, people who asking them specifically to post church related content. The reason I think this is exploding is because of the new garments. And a lot of women are posting videos of them wearing clothes that they can wear the new garments with. And so people have been noticing, like, wait, how did, first of all, these influencers get these new garments? And second of all, they are putting out a ton of content, like some of them every single day, new outfits you can wear. And it's, very pro new garments. But I think because that's been happening a lot lately, suddenly people are like, wait, who's paying them to put this content out there? How are they getting this product before other people? And so it's just kind of been raising the question. And as it's been being raised, one person who specifically I know has been posting a lot about this is under the tag LDS Change Makers on
Hmm.
Instagram. And then so she's had a lot of different people commenting there and being like, yeah, I was approached by the church to create content. Yeah, I was approached. I was told I could get this much money, and this was the kind of content that they wanted. Um, and so people are like, wait. Is that okay for the church to be doing? Thoughts, Matt?
Okay, so first of all, the church has been asking members of the church to post pro-church content on social media for a long time. So that's
Correct.
not new.
That's not
Um,
new. And
the church has been
also,
paying for advertising. Back in the day, they did the I'm a Mormon campaign, and there's a whole lot there. They would take out ads in the Book of Mormon, the musical playbill, so that people
yeah,
would.
they have to have an advertising firm. Absolutely, they have to, right?
So then I don't think I really care if they pay influencers to advertise for the church.
Okay, let's look about it from this angle. Because you said, yeah, the church has been asking people for a long time to post content, right?
Yeah.
And when you said that, it made me instantly think of Ruby Frankie. Because in a way, that's
Mm.
kind of how we got to the situation that she got in. For our listeners who don't recall, Ruby Frankie was a very big blogger with her family and then became a YouTuber and a social media star and had millions of followers and definitely did it pro church. Like, I'm doing this because the church asked us to do this. Didn't say like if she was getting money from the church, but this was her entire income for her whole family. And then, yes, was arrested for severe child abuse, pled guilty a couple of years ago. So, yes, the church has been asking people to create content. What we've seen recently is that's not always good for families.
Well, you don't have to do what she did, right? You can on your own social media space. In fact, I think people I do see because the only reason I know anything about the change of the garments is because people on social media that I know
Hmm.
like talk about it.
Hmm.
So you can
I
do
agree.
that. There's nothing wrong with telling people. And I have friends that on their social media space, all they do is uplifting content now. They just
Right.
post like scriptures or whatever.
Yeah, and the church for sure encourages that, right? They
Yeah.
absolutely do. With Light the World, they give you content to go ahead and
Yeah.
post, right? I think the big key feeling is should the church be paying for this? Like, because
Well, I,
it,
I guess it depends on what you're paying for.
right.
Is the question to me would be more about is messaging about garments the
Hmm.
thing that you want to pay people money to talk about?
Hmm.
That's the
Or
thing that
the
feels weird
word
to
of
me.
wisdom, or,
Um,
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, there's a lot
I'm
of things.
I'm okay if people wanted to post like why they or their various postum recipes, right? I'm okay if people.
Yeah, I'm okay with anything people want to post. I'm just interested in should the church be spending funds on
Mm.
paying influencers to do that. And I guess if we're digging into this a little bit more, it doesn't look like the church actually is the person paying people. It looks like they do it through foundations like Deseret Trust Company and More Good Foundation. So the
Wait,
church gives, go ahead.
the More Good Foundation is the church?
The More Good Foundation was founded by members of the church, like the guy who started JetBlue, Needleman,
Uh huh.
Needleman,
Neeleman?
and other rich LDS people. And they are not part of the church, but the church
Okay,
gives them donations, and then
but they're the
they.
ones. They're the ones that do like the Kermit the Frog billboards on the freeway, right? And
Oh, do they?
the
Okay.
are they the Foundation for a Better Life people, where they just have those uplifting billboards that you see on the freeway?
I don't know if that's the same one. I know that they were
Oh,
started like in early 2000s because anytime somebody would do an internet search for Mormon, it would bring up negative things. Like 90% of the things would be negative. And so they said, we need a way to change the algorithm and to put a lot more content on the internet so that when people do a basic search, also good and positive things about the church pulls up. And so
okay.
that's what they started their foundation to do. And yeah, their foundation is still basically aimed at good press for the church,
Okay,
whether
well
that
then
comes
that
through social
then that
media.
makes total sense why they would pay influencers to talk about wonderful clothes you can wear with the new
Yeah.
garments.
And the church would pay them.
Well, but I don't know that the church is paying them just to do that.
That's true. That's true. Deseret Trust is another one, and Deseret Trust Company, and they ask for people to donate, and they say that they're doing philanthropic things, which I'm sure they are, but they are also paying social media influencers, and the church is donating to them. So I don't know that this is a big like scandal. I'm not saying that. I assume that the church has an arm that is producing content and getting good content out there. I just think that some people are up in arms because it's like, hey, I'm uncomfortable with women going online and showing how they're wearing their garments and showing the new garments and then getting paid for that as a message to spread to the world. I'm not, me
Yeah.
personally, I'm not uncomfortable with it, but I know it's a thing that people are talking about.
I could see why you wouldn't want the church to do it, but I'm okay if the More Good Foundation, if that's part of their mission, if that's what they want to do, okay. Like
Yeah,
it
sure.
is a big story, so I could see why you would want to shape the narrative of a. If people are going to Google some story, I could see why you would want the hits that come up, right? Those search results to be things that are positive to the church, and you
Yeah.
do that by paying influencers.
And I'd rather they be smart about it. I mean, at least it's proactive and it's modern and current, frankly. I mean, if you look at the social media that the church themselves puts out, it's not that good. Like
The
their
More Good
church
Foundation
news,
could donate.
every time I see a post from the church news, it's just like this little news clip that's reading the church news. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but it's not catching anybody new. It's not catching their attention. It's not social media like modern forward.
It's like very Walter Cronkite, which is a newsman who died before we were born.
That's it. That's it. That's
But
it.
he was the voice of reason.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Anyways, I thought it was worth talking about. We're going to try and get the creator of LDS Changemakers on for an interview and see
Yeah,
if
that'd
she
be
can give us
fun.
a little more insight. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Let us know what you think, listeners, if you have anything to add to the story.
Okay, so Famous Mormons is going to be a little bit different this week because
Okay.
there's a story out called, it says, 9 chilling true crime documentaries about Mormon communities. And it
Oh,
just
good.
lists all of these various true crime. Now, they're not new. There's nothing new about these particular series, but we put a link in the show notes, and it's
Matt,
all about the crazy things that have happened among members of our community.
I love true crime. I
I
love
know.
it so much. I'm looking at this and like there's one that I haven't heard of, the LDS Last Stop, the Chad Daybell story. I've seen Daybell documentaries, but I haven't seen this one.
It
Blood
doesn't say
of the
where it is
Prophets.
either. Where can we
Yeah,
watch that one?
The Polygamous Daughter. Yeah, there's some good ones on here. I'm excited. Matt, you get into crime, don't you?
I like to watch court TV a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you listen to like true crime books or watch these kind of
Mm,
documentaries?
no. No, I
Okay,
wanna
well.
create that content. I don't wanna consume. I create it on
Well,
my own in my mind.
I see,
Like,
I see.
yes.
Well, while we're on the subject really quickly, I know that Lori Daybell did do an interview with Nate Eaton from East Idaho News.
Yeah, I watched
Um,
that whole interview.
yeah, what did you think about it? It's just right after her final trial that she just got convicted guilty
Remember how I
again.
said I wanted to have her on the podcast as a guest?
Yeah,
After
yeah.
that, I was like, I'm no longer interested in having her on the podcast as a guest.
Because do you think she's insane or manipulative?
Mhm.
Because those were the things that
Both.
I
She's
thought.
a little of both, right?
Yeah.
And she's not even honest with herself. But she did spill, right? When Nate asked her, "Did Alex tell you the kids were on Chad's property?" She said, "Alex just told me they were safe." So I'm like, "Oh, she just confessed to the thing she was convicted of, right? Which is conspiracy to."
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
catch that.
But
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of her interviews, the jailhouse interviews, and she's really just not that interesting to talk to.
Oh, really? You don't think so?
She's gonna we can predict exactly what she's gonna say, and she's not gonna talk about anything of substance.
Okay.
And even if you get into her beliefs, she's not gonna talk about the beliefs. I did think at one time, like, okay, maybe if you like pump her up enough and like kind of make her feel really good and comfortable, but she's too, yeah, I don't know. I think she's just. Did you see the prison cell she lives in?
I didn't
Like,
see it. I just listened to it.
yeah, I watched. He shows the prison cell, and I just thought, my heavens, if that was my life for the rest of my life, I too would want to do every interview that's possible,
Yeah.
just to get out of there. And also,
Well,
my favorite part at the end, they're telling her, "Oh, it's time to leave and go back to your cell," and she's like, "Oh, there's some M&Ms there. Can I have some M&Ms?" And the guard's like, "No." She's like, "No." He's like, "No." I'm like, poor Lori, can't even have M&Ms.
well, maybe you should aim towards getting Chad Daybell.
Oh, you know what? I have to say this real fast because listeners always get mad if I sound too sympathetic to Lori
Oh,
Daybell. I
okay.
understand she is convicted of some horrible things, but I try
Yeah.
not to judge people on what they do. I try to judge people on like random things that don't matter at all. So like
Okay. Like
who a person.
M&Ms.
Hey, did you know the Idaho University of Idaho killer,
Oh,
Brian
yeah.
Koberger?
Yeah.
There's a documentary about him coming out, I think today, tomorrow, sometime
Okay.
soon. on
Okay.
Amazon Prime. If you like true crime.
I ordered the book that the
Oh,
documentary is based on.
oh,
So it
okay.
hasn't gotten here yet, but I'll let you know. Not Mormon related at all, but true crime related.
Idaho is not Mormon. That's right.
Well, other celebrity news, if you want to call it that. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Guess what? Two of
Yes.
them get to be on Dancing with the Stars.
I'm so happy. Anytime any of our people can become famous, it makes me feel good inside.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Especially these two, I think, are more Mormon than the other Mormon wives.
Oh,
If that makes
it,
sense.
is
It's
it the Affleck girl?
yeah, the Jen Affleck girl and the Whitney girl. I can't remember Whitney's last name. But Whitney and Jen, they're going to be on Dancing with the Stars. And guess what? They're going to be competitive.
Are they?
They're not going to take it easy. I
Are they
can't wait.
gonna are they gonna dance with the guy who used to be Mormon who was on that show? Huff
I
was his name Huff?
Yeah, they haven't announced who they'll be dancing with, but Juliana Huff, who used to be Mormon, is going to be hosting the season. So
Oh,
there
she
will be
doesn't
that
dance
connection
anymore.
still.
She's too good to dance.
She doesn't dance anymore. She does some hosting. Do you know who she
Oh,
hosts with?
no.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Oh, I really like him
I
from
know.
Silver Spoons. He
Yeah.
was on
Yeah.
Silver Spoons with Ricky
Ricky
Schroeder, who's
Schroeder,
also a
also
member of our show.
LDS
I know.
or not,
We're so
but
no, he is.
we
We're so
we
happy for
we've
all of
gone
our
full circle. I don't think he is, Matt. I think
Melissa. What about Zach Wilson? Is he LDS?
Zach Wilson is he LDS. Zach Wilson is in the news because he's getting married. Do you even remember who Zach Wilson is? Former
Yeah,
BYU quarterback, right?
former. I go all the way back to high school. Former Corner Canyon quarterback
Oh,
who
okay.
went to BYU and then the Jets, and now I think he's at the Dolphins. He went
Isn't
to
he
the
at the
Broncos.
Broncos?
No, the Broncos cut him, and I think he went to the Dolphins.
Okay.
So yes, I
Listen,
know who Zach Wilson is.
Zach Wilson is in the news because he's getting married, and everybody wants to know if he's actually LDS. And do you want to know what Zach says?
He says no.
No, he says, yes, I am.
Oh, then why is he
Yeah.
getting married in a Catholic church?
He says, I'm a Mormon and LDS church member for sure. Now, he also says, listen, I didn't grow up like going to church. We weren't super active or anything like that. In fact, like, even though his family is all Mormon, they weren't like very active.
They weren't go to church kind of
They
Mormons.
weren't go to church Mormons. And he
They were
said
more
it
like
wasn't,
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives kind of Mormons.
that's it. That's it. That's it.
Aren't they all in Draper?
Yeah,
So
that's
now
right.
I've got a new word. They were Draper Mormons.
They were Draper Mormons. Anyways, he said not until he went to BYU did he actually start learning about the church and developing his relationship with God. And it was really valuable to him. I know
And
this goes
then
against and he
when
doesn't
did he
like live
decide?
all the standards, but he says he still has like the same morals and the same values as the church. And yeah, he's Mormon. That's what he says. I'm LDS.
That's
So there
good
you go.
enough for me. If he says he is, then he is. You don't
Absolutely.
have to get married in the temple or
No,
even an LDS church to be a member
nope.
of our church.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's right.
We claim you, Zach.
Yeah. Join us on the podcast sometime. We'll talk with you about you.
Perfect.
Let's move to quick clips, Melissa.
Okay, what you got?
This news is big news, but I wasn't really even paying that close of attention. Did you know that the church is shut down in China? The China
No.
has shut down branches in Beijing and all throughout the country.
What does that
No
Yeah.
explanation.
I know what being
No,
shut down means, but like from a political perspective, Matt,
nobody
what does that
knows.
mean?
Nobody knows for sure
Oh,
what. Like this happened in Russia shortly before, about a year or two before they invaded Ukraine. What
so
happened?
sorry, go on. Go on.
China has always had this policy that if you are a foreigner and you're a member of our church, you're allowed to meet in person at a branch with foreigners.
Okay.
If you're a Chinese citizen or a Chinese person, you may attend a church in the country with other Chinese people, but the two groups can't mix. And there's no
Gotcha.
proselyting or anything like that. But what they've done now is foreigners, everybody cannot meet in person for church in China.
Hmm.
All of the branches and wards all meet on Zoom now in China.
And is that allowed? Is that legal?
It's allowed to meet on Zoom. It's not allowed to meet in person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate and scary,
Yeah.
actually.
Right.
Huh.
It's going kind of under the radar because I don't think people pay enough attention to China and all of that stuff. But I have a lot
Well,
of
they
friends that are.
can't because Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is on, Matt. You have to focus your attention on one or the other.
So don't you think this is interesting though, Melissa? Like President Nelson announced a temple in Russia, and
Right.
then Russia shut down the church in
Hmm.
Russia and stopped proselyting, all that stuff, and then invaded Ukraine. Same thing. We've announced a temple in Shanghai,
You're
and
right.
China's now like, you know what? You're not allowed to meet for church here now.
Really interesting.
Hmm.
Wait, can you quickly Google the status of those two temples? Like, is
They just say they've been announced.
that's it?
Yeah.
And the Russia one was several years ago, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, a long, long time ago.
Huh.
The exact location of either of them has not been announced.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, will you keep your eyes on that for us while I keep
Yeah.
my eyes on Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Next quick clip. Have you ever been to the Church's Heber Valley Camp in Heber,
Yeah,
Utah?
I have. I love
Yeah,
it there.
it's a great facility. They've put a lot of work and missionaries and money into that area. It's a gorgeous camp. I know it's used mainly for girls camps and like families can rent it out for family camps. They have created a new experience there. And normally, Matt, I'll be honest, this is something I would make fun of. But I
Mhm,
actually am not going to. I actually think it's kind of cool. So they've set up this 1.5 mile walk through the woods, and you do it at nighttime, and it's lit by like special glow lighting. So it's kind of like this, I don't know, ethereal experience.
mhm,
And you wear noise canceling headphones as you do the walk. And they
mhm,
connect you as you get close to one of like the displays. There's probably like 10 of them throughout the walk. And then it gives you like a little, you walk up to the display and then you hear a little bit of something about something. It might be like a challenge to do something or think about something, or here's what this is about. Anyways, I like that it was put together by the Young Men's and Young Women's General Boards, worked together to put it together. And it's very Christ centered, and they're going to try and create similar things all around the world that people can experience. So there you go.
Okay, I have nothing to say about that. Nothing positive to say
When you
about that.
can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah, because it
That's
reminds me
fine.
of a lot of things that happen at Young Women's Camp, and I'm all for
Yeah,
Young Women's Camp, even
I
if I'm
know.
not for
But
everything
we
that
do
happens.
some weird things there. Yeah.
Mhm.
How about this? There's a big fire happening in Idaho, forest fire. So big that they had to evacuate 400 LDS youth from camp. They were up there having camp, time of their lives. 400. They had to send in 10 buses to evacuate them overnight.
Wow.
I know.
This
But
is the
honestly, wouldn't that be the best camp story?
yeah, I mean, I do remember seeing the fire. I was like, "Wow, that's a big fire," and it
Yeah.
never occurred to me that there was a camp there.
Yeah.
Um, Too
But
bad.
guess where they evacuated them to?
Bear Lake.
A high school in Idaho Falls.
Oh,
That's where they get to finish their experience at.
You know, that's where Bernie Sanders comes when he comes to town. He goes to a high school in Idaho Falls near the airport.
Okay.
They're turning him into socialists. They're like, and then we ended our camp at the Bernie
Not
Sanders
that
Pavilion.
kind of camp, Matt. Not that kind of camp.
All right. Well, my stories have to do with some Temple and Temple Square related news. The
Okay.
Joseph Smith building is finally reopened. I know this doesn't matter to you because you never go there.
No.
But when I'm in downtown Salt Lake City and I want to go to church, there are a
Oh,
few options to choose from. There's a big building with like one of the floors is like meeting houses. But there's also a chapel in the Joseph Smith building where all the missionaries, senior couples go to church. So I always try to hit that ward when I'm in Salt Lake, but it's been closed. The Joseph Smith building's been closed, and I didn't know where they met for church. So
okay.
also that's where we go up to the high, because if you want to go up high and look at Salt Lake City, you go up there to that top level.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it's nice to
Yeah,
have it open again.
yeah,
I don't know.
good.
And then the Farmington, New Mexico Temple is having its open house July
Okay.
17th through August 2nd. Do
Are you
you
gonna head
know
down there?
do you know where Farmington, New Mexico is?
It's in New Mexico?
Do you know where Cortez, Colorado is?
I don't.
Do you know where
Matt?
Moab, Utah is?
Heard of it, yes.
Oh, okay. This is down in that area. So if you are one of those people that's headed to the national parks at the wrong time of year when the millions of people are there and it's super hot,
So hot, yeah.
you should it's only like another hour, maybe 2-hour drive to get to Farmington, New Mexico and see the
Okay.
temple.
Okay.
It's a fun place. I mean, I like Cortez. Oh, do you know what's down there is Mesa Verde's down there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we've been there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyhow,
maybe I'll check it out. I'll report back.
yeah, you should do a road trip to Mesa Verde. And after
Yeah,
you see the cliff dwelling stuff, head on over to
yeah.
the temple open house.
That's gonna happen.
I know
So, yeah.
Melissa will not do that ever.
I would never do that. Okay. Quick mention on the Utah area Young Single Adult Conference. It's happening every year now. We've talked about it a lot. They've announced that Elder Jeffrey R. Holland, President actually Jeffrey R. Holland, will be the devotional speaker for the conference. And the conference is at the end of August, but if any of you want to attend the devotional, you need to get your tickets by August 1st. Okay?
Will the devotional be at the conference center in Salt Lake City or at the Salt Palace where they have the thing? Do you
I
know?
don't know where they're going to have it at,
Oh, okay.
but it'll be down there somewhere.
Melissa, this is a year unlike any other.
Okay.
We have record global growth in the church.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, this last year from July to July or July to the end of June,
Uh-huh.
more convert baptisms in our church than any other year in the history of the church.
No,
Yep.
For reals? I haven't
Yeah.
heard this.
Well, now you
More
have.
convert baptisms?
Yeah, than
How
any other
come?
year.
What's the
We have also more missionaries out than we've ever had before, and
We
we have
do?
more. Uh-huh. But remember, it's global, right? So not necessarily
Yeah.
in the United States, but
Yeah.
my stake in Rexburg, Idaho, in the last month had 5 baptisms in our stake.
Really?
And our ward had a baptism for the first time since I've ever been here in 12 years.
Well, I guess our ward has had 2 convert baptisms this year, too. Interesting.
You're a part of the record growth of the church. No, I think
That's good.
it is interesting, like, because there's this narrative out there that religion is on the decline. And
Yes.
there's so much evidence that it's not on the decline. And there's also people that say that it's on decline among Gen Z. And there's
Yeah.
so much evidence that it's not on the decline. Like, it's time for that narrative to shift.
Okay.
Religion is not declining in the world, it's growing.
Matt, you should start a social media account about this, and I can see if I can send some funds your way because
Mhm.
it is time to shift the narrative, and I think you're the man to do it.
I have a friend, his name's Ryan Burge. He's already got a social media account doing that thing right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ryan Burge is his name, if you care. I think his account is something. It's a Twitter account. I think it's something like Figures of Religion, or I don't know what it is. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah, lots of evidence that even Christianity isn't on the decline.
Yeah.
But I mean, Christianity is declining relative to other faiths. The fastest growing religion in the world right now is Islam,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of religious growth in the United States happening right now. And our church, we're probably one of the few Christian churches that are growing globally right now.
Yeah. Matt, this is one of the few times I'm really glad to have you as my co-host because you know stuff about stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Good job.
There was a refugee branch organized in Kenya.
Oh,
Now,
what does
why this
that
came?
mean?
Let's see.
Like,
I
so
have
it's
to read the
just a
story.
group of like it's like in a refugee camp?
Yeah. There's
Interesting.
a Kenyan branch in a refugee camp. It has grown 6-fold in just 2 months. The
Wow.
Kakuma refugee camp in Kalobeye village, Kenya, created its first branch.
Huh. I didn't know we did that.
Uh, Created branches in refugee camps, or this one
Yeah.
in particular?
Yeah, no, in refugee camps. I think that's fascinating and really cool.
Yeah. I don't know more about that. That's all I
That's
know.
okay. That's okay. I know something. Have you guys gotten the new hymn book songs yet?
On my
Because
app,
there's the new
maybe?
ones, then there's the new ones, and now there's the new ones.
Okay, I have a confession to make, Melissa.
Uh-oh.
Whenever our ward does not print out the new hymns. So whenever
Okay.
we sing a new hymn, you have to open up your phone or
Yeah.
whatever. And I refuse to do that. So whenever we
Okay.
sing a new hymn, I just silently meditate. And my whole family gets, especially my wife, she's like, "Why aren't you singing this song?" And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to open up the app.
I understand. Our ward cannot keep up with printing out the new ones before we get to sing them. Like we have a little folder that has the new songs in it, but the last few weeks, the new songs haven't been in there, even though we've been singing them. I don't like singing from the app myself either. It's hard to see like the music notes
Hmm.
and the words and what's coming. You have to be
Hmm.
really, you have to be on your toes to do that. And
Yeah.
frankly, I don't know the songs well enough to just look at the words. So That
So,
being
so
said,
that's why I don't know if there's a new. Like,
okay.
are they adding new hymns to the hymnal? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they're adding them. And one of them that was just added is a really inspirational song. It's a Latin America song that has been in their hymn book for a long time, but now we
Oh,
know it's going to make the cut to the new hymn book. And it's really exciting. I guess, obviously saints who have been enjoying and loving this song for a long time are excited about it. Translated to English, it's called "Oh, How Great Is Our Joy."
oh,
But it was written, I love the story of this hymn. It was written by Andres C. Gonzalez, and he was one of the first native Mexicans to serve a full time mission.
mm,
And then he was also the first Mexican patriarch.
wow.
And he was very faithful. Anyways, it's really interesting because when he was on one of his missions, him and his companion were singing on the corner just as a way to kind of like spread the gospel.
Hmm.
And they were told they couldn't sing that song because they didn't have the rights to that song, or they didn't own that song or something like that. And so they were told, you can't keep singing that song. And then the next day they came back and were singing that song again. And so guess what? They got put in jail. Okay.
No.
Yeah. And while he's in jail, he writes this new hymn, this hymn that we're talking about, "Oh, how great is my joy." He writes this while he's in jail so that when he gets released, they have this song that they can sing on the corners now and not get thrown in jail anymore for singing the other song. Isn't
Wow,
that
that's kind of a
neat?
fun story.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to singing that one when it comes up in my rotation. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Okay. Are you ready for TWIM trivia?
Yeah, am I allowed to read TWIM trivia?
No.
Okay, I won't read it.
Don't read it. I'm just going to ask you questions and you're going to see if you know the answer.
Okay, yeah, I forgot. I like this a lot. Okay.
I know. It's super fun. Okay, here's your first question, Maddie. Which current general authority
Mhm.
mentioned Chewbacca in their conference talk?
Ooh,
You know who Chewbacca is,
ooh.
don't you?
From Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
Wait,
current general authority mentioned him in their conference talk?
is this a recent conference talk or just ever in the whole history of conference talks?
Well, it's a current general authority. So
I
it's
know, I
current in the
know.
sense that
They're
they
still
were a
alive.
general authority. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but it has oh, I have no guess. Let's say Elder Clark Gilbert.
Wow. That was a great guess. No, it was Elder Uchtdorf.
Oh, okay.
2016 to answer your
Yeah,
question.
see, that's a lot. That's 9 years ago.
Matt, this
There-
is trivia.
I know
You
there was
have
a time I would have remembered a general conference talk from 9 years ago, but not
yeah.
anymore.
But it's kind of funny. But I would have guessed him maybe just because he kind of has that humor in his talks a lot,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
tells real life stories.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. And at that time, he was in the first presidency, so he was given lots of talks. He was probably like, "I need some material. Anyone?" And
Yeah.
oh, Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. Okay, listeners, if you want to look at that talk, there's a link in the show notes. Okay, here's your next question, Maddie.
Okay.
This one is also going to be guess the apostle. Guess
Oh,
which
okay.
apostle this is. Okay. Okay, when this apostle was a teenager, he fell in love with a girl in his ward. Isn't
Uh-huh.
that cute? Because I fell in love with a boy from my ward when I was a teenager.
I hope he becomes a general authority.
Ah,
I know who
me
this
too.
is. It's
No, you don't.
Suarez.
I'm not done. I'm not done. I
Oh,
got to tell you the
sorry.
whole story. Okay. He fell in love with the girl in his ward and tried to come up with schemes to get her to fall in love with him. So he decided to go to her house and offer to give the girl a romantic bike ride to church. Isn't that
Wow.
cute?
Wow.
When he arrived, the girl's mother answered the door. And she said the daughter wasn't going to church that day, but he could give her, the mom, a ride instead. So the teenage boy gave the girl's mother a ride to church on the handlebars of his bike.
What?
Yep. He was discouraged, but decided that in retrospect, it couldn't hurt to be on good terms with the mother of the girl of his dreams. He ended up marrying the girl years later.
Okay, so that means he had like romantic stuff prepared on the bike, right?
I see what you're saying. Maybe a
Yeah.
blanket, maybe a
Yeah.
flower,
Yeah,
some
that's
cheese
odd.
and crackers.
I
I
think
don't
the
know.
mom was like, yeah, that's weird. My daughter's not going to church today, but
And
I
then she
am.
jumps on the handlebars of the bike.
Is it Suarez, Elder Suarez?
No, I tricked you. It's also Uchtdorf.
Oh,
Yeah, they're both Elder Uchtdorf.
that's fun. I remember that his wife Harriet didn't like him at first. He had to try
Yeah.
hard to woo her.
He had to woo her mother, apparently. That's a fun
Where
story.
do these stories come from, Melissa?
I might be using some AI.
Oh, It may or may not be true.
It's true.
Okay.
I gave links, Matt. I gave links.
Okay, you remember I wrote a new theme song for this. Big deal.
Big deal. Little deal, no deal.
Have you noticed that other podcasts like to copy this segment? It's such a
I,
good segment.
listen, there's room for all podcasts
Yeah,
to
of
do
course.
well and enjoy themselves.
We
And if
welcome
they
it.
need to copy us to do that, I'm fine. That's fine.
I hope they'll copy Mormon trivia or whatever we want to call it so that we don't offend the ears of like super, super faithful people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, I've got the first big deal, little deal, no deal story. Here's your
Okay.
headline. The spiritual significance of Independence Day in the United States.
Okay.
Big
I'm
deal,
ready.
little deal, or no deal? 3, 2, 1.
Big deal.
Big deal.
We're talking about the movie with Will Smith, right?
Yep, the movie Independence Day.
Oh, there are so
Matt,
many
we
spiritual
just-
overtones in that movie.
I know. You're so dumb. We just finished celebrating the 4th of July in America. Okay.
Yes.
And it was on a testimony Sunday, right?
I
Fast and
know.
testimony.
I know.
Did you get, as I was expecting, so many testimonies about religion in our church and the founding of America based on the Book of Mormon and whatever else?
Yes, I did. There was, by the way, some of our really great members of our ward are from the United Kingdom. And
Okay.
so when this woman shared her testimony that we're the only free country on earth or nobody has more freedom than we do, I was just like, sorry, I don't think that's doctrine. Okay,
Were
but real
you
fast.
wearing your flag tie, your American flag tie?
No,
I saw a lot of those.
I'm going to share a story that's only tangentially related to this.
Okay.
There's a brother in our ward who's had a very difficult time lately. They discovered mold in his house and he had to move everything out of his house. They're living in a rental and they're cleaning it all up and all of this sort of stuff. I did not know about this.
Okay.
I was helping some other service project and I was talking with him and then he told me everything that he had been through. And then like a week after that, there was another service project to help their family and I couldn't go. I was otherwise occupied. Okay. This brother is sharing his testimony on the 4th of July Sunday. And he's written down his testimony, a list of all the things he's learned from this tragedy. And then he gets to this point where he says, and I learned who my true friends are. And as he says that, we sit over on the way side. He turns and looks right at me and says, I learned who my true friends are. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Does that mean I am a true friend? Or does that mean he learned that I'm not a true friend? And then he looked away after he said that. And I was like, man, I don't know what to make of this testimony. I feel like bad, but I don't know.
That's when you rush the pulpit to give your reply testimony as soon as you can, immediately.
I was really, really busy and I didn't know what was going on in his life. I'm really sorry. Okay, we can continue with the rest of the story.
Okay, well, that was fascinating. Listen, I am all pro being patriotic. I love it. I'm down for it. Okay. I'm totally down for it. I do always have to cringe at some of the things that come out of people's mouths on the 4th of July Sunday. I don't know what it is. It's like, what is it, Matt? What bothers me? I can't put it into words.
It's the way that they mix love of a mythology of our country with religion, because the mythology that they share isn't actually true. And so then the spirit can't testify about the mythology that they're sharing. And so then it just feels uncomfortable because you're like, testimony meeting, we should be inviting the spirit, but the spirit's not going to testify to this mythology that people share.
Matt, well put.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to put some money towards your social media account.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, at any rate, if you are interested, the Deseret News published an article that lists all of the church leaders throughout all of the years and what they said about the Constitution and the restoration of the gospel in conjunction with each other.
However, their quotes on Joseph Smith omit several quotes from Joseph Smith that are critical of the U.S. Constitution.
Do go on, sir, doctor.
Yeah, it's in the history of the church. But after he goes to visit with President Van Buren, he's talking with people about the Constitution, and he calls it an old granny. He's like, it's an old granny anyhow. And then he prophesies the destruction of the United States. He's like, within a few years, the entire country will be overthrown and wasted. And he's very critical of the Constitution. So while it's true, Joseph Smith did say some very pro Constitution things, it's also true that he said some very anti Constitution things. So I don't think we should cherry pick. Right, we should share the nuance because he had good reason to not like the Constitution,
Yeah.
and the flaws that he talked about were corrected after the Civil War with the Reconstruction Amendment. So I'm fine with all of the things that he said, but it's not fair to just cherry pick the good things he said and ignore all of the other critical. And by the way, Brigham Young had some very critical things to say about the Constitution, but you don't read any of those in the Deseret News article.
Okay, very interesting, Matt. Thank you. That was a big deal.
I thought we were talking about a movie with aliens and Will Smith that was very inspirational, but no.
It was inspirational and future forecasting.
Okay, next story. The IRS says churches can now endorse candidates from the pulpit without risking their tax-exempt status. Is that a big deal, little deal, or no deal? 3, 2, 1.
Big
little
deal?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Wait, is that why our church doesn't endorse candidates? Is because it's technically against the law? Is that why it hasn't happened in the past?
Some people say that's the reason why. I don't think that's the reason why. What
Okay.
does the endorsing of candidates do to help the global church? I don't think it really helps the global church in any way. So I think the real reason they don't endorse candidates is because, but it could be why they have such strict policies about using meeting houses for political purposes, because that would risk their tax exempt status.
Okay.
No, the problem with this, in my opinion, in the United States, we create a special status for religious organizations because we value religion in the United States. And the implicit deal that we create is religious organizations can't be political organizations. And what this does is this changes that says, no, a religious organization can be a political organization. And the problem that creates is now there's a legal space for somebody with a political organization to start calling that a religious organization. And it blurs those lines so that why would, for example, as an extreme example, the Democratic Party could say, we are a religious organization and we have a political purpose and we have a religious purpose. And that would be very bad for society if the parties got the status of religions, right? Or other such aligned groups, because it makes it hard to protect religious liberty if just anybody can call themselves a religion.
Very interesting.
But it is hard to draw the boundaries. If I said to you, okay, define for me what counts as a religion and what doesn't count as a religion, it's hard to draw those legal boundaries in a way that would exclude a political party, right? Because there are people that believe in that stuff like a person would believe in a religion.
Yeah.
So it's
But on the opposite side, there are a lot of religions, including some of our own people in our religion, who are frustrated because churches aren't speaking out more on what they consider to be moral issues of the day. And they think, well, what's a church for if it's not to say that, this is immoral or we need to fight against this,
So churches have always been able to speak out on issues. You just can't endorse candidates or raise money for candidates or parties or things like that.
Okay, interesting. But now you can.
Now you can, yeah.
Okay.
I know. Right. I think it's scary.
Okay. Matt, I'm going to bring us back to something that I've ranted about before. Okay, but there's another take on this. And this headline is based on an opinion piece from Gordon Monson in the Salt Lake Tribune. Okay, here's the headline. In light of recent events with quarterback Jake Retzlaff, it is past time for BYU to change its honor code. Big deal, little deal, no deal. 3, 2, 1.
No deal?
Big deal.
No.
Matt, BYU, this whole quarterback story, it is a big deal.
Oh, that. Okay. Gordon, I was saying Gordon Monson saying what he says is no deal.
Okay. Well, Gordon Monson actually has a really interesting take. And it's different than my take. And it's different than what we've talked about before. But could you quickly recap what this story is for our listeners in case they don't know?
Yeah. Jake Retzlaff was a quarterback of BYU. And while a quarterback at BYU, a woman accused him of raping her. And he denied the allegations of rape. But in court documents, he admitted to having intercourse with the woman, and that violates BYU's honor code. And so it looks like he's going to face honor code repercussions. And rather than wait for that process to work itself out, he's probably going to transfer from BYU and go somewhere else.
Okay.
So
And in
BYU
fact,
has
he
lost
has,
its quarterback.
yes. And Jake Retzlaff, he's already going into his 5th year. And so he only has one
Yeah.
more year left of college. It's going to affect his ability to play and to graduate and to have a career. The interesting take from Gordon Monson is that, okay, when we have somebody who does something that's against the church standards and they're not a BYU student, what they do, they go to their bishop, right? They talk to their bishop, they seek repentance. Often repentance is given. Often that is done without any sort of media fanfare. In fact, nobody's supposed to know that this whole thing is going on, right? And they're able to do things like repent and change and move forward. And they don't have to lose their opportunity to complete their education or to move forward in their career as an athlete like Jake is being. When it goes through the BYU Honor Code office instead, the Honor Code office is not a bishop or an ecclesiastical leader. It's just a group of BYU people. And they do things like what they did to Jake is give him a 7-game suspension. Okay. They've done other things like, I don't know, like, usually it's time off from playing or some sort of a suspension. But what they don't do is say, let's progress, let's change, let's move forward, and let's do it in a quiet way. And so it's just simply because of the fact of the honor code and the ecclesiastical endorsement.
He could have
That's
gotten
the
out
whole
of
reason.
He could have gotten out ahead of it. He could have gone to his rabbi and confessed or whatever it was, and he could have said to the honor code office, he could have had the rabbi, when all of this came out, say to the honor code office, yeah, we're working through this. Like, everybody knows you can do this at the BYUs. You
Go
can
on. I
go
don't
to
know this.
There's the 2 chains of command, even at the BYUs. There's the
Okay.
ecclesiastical line, and then there's the honor code office line.
So is the honor code office only if you get caught and
Yeah.
don't go to your bishop?
Yeah. And frequently the honor code office will call the bishop, and if the bishop says we're already working with this person and we're dealing with this, then the honor code office will just back off. Sometimes they
Interesting.
don't.
Okay.
And if you're a BYU quarterback and it's really public, then maybe there's some pressure to make sure everybody knows that everybody's treated the same. But
Mhm.
yeah, there are people that if you get reported to the honor code office, then you're going to have a different process than if you've already gone to your bishop. So I think everybody at the BYUs knows this. Go to your bishop,
Okay.
and then you'll have a different situation.
Matt, that was a really great telling of that because I didn't know that. To me, it feels like sort of an attacking feeling. But yeah. Interesting.
Well, and
Okay.
besides, Jake knew the honor code when he came to BYU.
Well, I understand that. And we've talked about that aspect of it before.
But young people, right? Young people.
Right. Well,
yeah.
and every single young person who violates the law of chastity is not getting kicked out. Yeah.
No, because you go through
Right.
to your bishop. If you go to your bishop, then So
Okay, that makes sense, Matt. Okay.
Yeah.
Guess what? No deal. Changed my mind.
All right, here's the next story. Mormon fundamentalists felt gaslit before 1886 polygamy revelation was acknowledged. Big deal, little deal, no deal. 3, 2, 1. Big
Little deal.
No, it's a big deal, Melissa.
I guess I don't really know what we're talking about.
Did you hear that the church, this would be, I think Kurt talked about it, that the church released a revelation from John Taylor that they had previously said didn't exist?
Yes, about polygamy.
Yeah. So the polygamists, the Mormon fundamentalists, we'll call them, because that's what they call themselves, or not FLDS, just generally, the Mormon fundamentalists, they believe that when John Taylor was president of the church, there was a meeting where Jesus appeared, Joseph Smith appeared, and told John Taylor and everybody in that room that polygamy should never go away and needed to be kept forever and ever and ever. Okay. And everyone in that room made a covenant that they would uphold polygamy forever. And some of the people in that room were members of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. So when later on the church is saying we need to get rid of polygamy, the people that were there are strong advocates saying, no, John Taylor, president of the church, he received revelation that said it needs to never go away. And eventually, a lot of those people were excommunicated, and that's what became this Mormon fundamentalist movement. But
Hmm.
but anytime they would say, look, there's this revelation from John Taylor, the church leaders would say, no, 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 that's not real. That can't be authenticated. And so for at least 100 years now, we're getting close to 150 years, the church officially denied, not officially, but there was no record of it. And if you asked about it and you went through the church documents, you couldn't find any record of it. So these people are now saying, ha, see, we told you so.
Okay.
And they felt gaslit by it, right? They felt like, you guys are telling us that we're crazy for believing this thing, but now everybody knows there's documentary evidence of at least the revelation. And so, that's kind of a big deal.
So is that why they still practice polygamy?
Yeah. Yeah. They feel like our
Got
church
it.
apostatized.
Got it. Okay, that was really interesting. Okay, thanks, Matt.
Mhm.
This is going to be equally of note, I feel like. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Utah employee says she was fired from Bath and Body Works and says it was religious discrimination based on her LDS faith. Big deal? Little deal? No deal. 3, 2, 1.
No deal. Why in
You
the
can't
world would
laugh.
why would they fire her for being a member of our church?
Listen, Matt, religious discrimination isn't no deal.
It is if it's not real, if they're just saying it. Like, it sounds
Yeah.
like one of my children be like, they fired me for being a Mormon. I'm like, really? Or maybe did you not show up to work on time a lot of times? Or maybe did you...
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is interesting. I do want to dig into it a little bit because she's saying it's because of her beliefs as a member of the church, but I'm not sure that these are church standard beliefs. I want to dig into it a
Oh.
little bit. I don't know.
Is
So
it the church
anyways,
belief that like lemon scent is evil? That you...
no, it is not based on sense. Good idea though, because Bath and Body Works. No, it's actually got some transgender
Oh.
rights thrown in there. So she was asked to call one of her fellow employees by different pronouns than they were born with. Okay. This other employee is transgender. They asked her to refer to them as she.
Uh-huh.
And this person who's filing the suit said, I cannot, in good conscience, refer to an associate by their preferred pronouns that are inconsistent with reality and my moral beliefs as a Latter-day Saint.
Ouch.
So, yeah. So, Bowden said that she couldn't refer to this employee as she because that is not her actual pronouns. And she said that that is based on her beliefs as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ as Latter-day Saints. And so she was talked to by HR and given a warning and still refused to do it. And so then was fired. So what do you think?
I'm pretty sure that's not church doctrine. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that's
right?
nowhere in our church.
Yeah. That's
This
not
is...
right.
I don't understand like the legal of all of these things, but you're going to have a hard time saying it's religious beliefs because we don't have... There's no anywhere that says don't refer to people by their preferred pronouns.
Right.
There's
It
nowhere
doesn't,
in our
right?
church. Right. There's nowhere
Like,
in our
what
church.
if she tried to say, well, the family proclamation says this and this and this? That's not even true, right? About
It,
genders or
it
whatever.
doesn't say anything about pronouns.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of teachings recently that talk about peace and kind and love and all of that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't
But
know how it
can you,
hurts you. It doesn't hurt your faith to use somebody's preferred pronouns.
I mean, she says it hurts her faith. And maybe her faith is,
I
are
don't want
you
to
able
judge
to
her.
file a lawsuit saying, like, this is my personal religious belief? I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I don't know, like, again, this religious liberty stuff is always up. It's always being adjudicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I would have taken that approach, but maybe she didn't like her job anyways, and this is a great opportunity to like fight for what you believe is right. And so
Yeah, I don't think she didn't like her job anyways. I think she thought this was what she had to do as a moral person standing up for her beliefs.
then I'm
I
100%
don't think
behind her.
that's true, but
No, well, I would do
that's what,
different. I would do different. But I love when people stand up for what they think is right, even if it costs them their job. I think that's awesome.
yeah, even if it's hurtful to somebody else.
So my wife and I are in a very similar sort of disagreement at the moment, right? Where
Okay.
she feels really strongly that she's right, and I feel very strongly that I'm right. And there's no way that both of you can win. And
Mhm.
so in a marriage relationship, one of you just has to say, I give up, like you win or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's not a way it is in society, right? If you feel really strongly one way and I feel really strongly one way, we should both fight for what we think is right. And trust that our system is set up in such a way that a good compromise will emerge from that. That doesn't happen a lot lately, but I would hope that there in like mediation or in some situation there could be something that would emerge that would be like, this is the right solution to this situation. And the transgender person should fight for saying, you should call me by the pronouns that I identify with. And this person should fight for saying, I feel like that's the wrong thing for me to do, and trust that at some point we figure out the right compromise. But that only happens when you both are willing to fight for what you believe in.
Huh. Really interesting, Matt. Matt, you're really impressing me today, and that almost never happens.
She's
So thank
not
you.
quitting the podcast today. All right. We're going to skip my next big deal, little deal, no deal. Oh, no, we don't
Okay.
have to. No, because, yeah, we're going to do it. This is going to be fun.
Okay, great. Let's finish off with yours.
When Thomas Jefferson and enslaved Sally Hemings were sealed in a Mormon marriage ceremony. Is that
Well,
a big deal? This is okay. So, first of all, this is a story that didn't happen recently. It happened 10 years ago, but somebody wrote about it, said, remember when this happened? So,
oh,
okay. So,
I
this,
don't remember when this happened. Okay.
yeah. So, when this happened, Thomas Jefferson and his enslaved Sally Hemings were sealed in a Mormon marriage ceremony. Is that a big deal, little deal, or no deal? 3, 2, 1.
Big.
Big deal.
Big deal. Yeah.
This goes back to 2012.
Wait, so
So,
this was in a Mormon temple. They sealed Thomas Jefferson to his slave?
yeah, it's super, super fun if you want to go through the history.
Yes,
Like,
please.
there's been a policy in place for probably 100 years that you can't get sealed to you can't do the temple work for somebody you're not related to, right? Like you
Okay.
can submit the names to the temple. So I can't like go through my history book and say, oh, Voltaire really loved his mistress, let's do their temple work and get them sealed. So at least 100 years that's been the rule. But our church is older than 100 years old, and people didn't always enforce that rule. So in 2012, Barack Obama's mother died of cancer. And in
Okay.
2012, while he was president of the United States, somebody did his mother's temple work. And he was none too pleased about it. He didn't like the idea of his mom. Anyhow, so it became this big public thing because the president was not pleased with us. And then the people were digging into like all of these Holocaust people with their temple work was being done, and the Jewish people didn't love that we were doing temple work for Holocaust. On Frank's temple work probably been done like 50 times. And so the church in 2012 came out and they're like, enough, enough, enough. And it's like, seriously, if you do this, you're in big trouble. So it all sort of stopped in 2012. But when all of those stories were coming out, one of them was that Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings got sealed together in our temple ceremonies. So
May
many
I
people have.
Wow. I was quickly scanning the article while you were telling that, Matt, and one line really stands out to me. And it's that Hemings was 16 when she first became pregnant from Jefferson, who was 46.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
he
seal them.
he loved her. He really, really loved her.
Wow.
Well, like
Okay.
somebody will read some history book or something, and they're like, "This person, I just feel their temple work needs to be done," and so they do their
Yeah.
temple work. Do you know
Yeah.
what's funny, Melissa? We're descendants of Zera Pulsifer.
Okay.
Zera Pulsifer was a member of the Quorum of the 70. He had his own endowment. He was sealed to his own family while he was in Nauvoo. But if you look, his temple work after he's been dead has been done like 20 times. It's like he did it himself. So people were like, just make sure, gotta make
Just
sure.
make sure. Well, Matt, it feels like this is a great time for us to do This Week in Mormon History.
Okay, we got some fun ones.
Okay.
I'm going chronologically this time.
Okay.
195 years ago this week,
Okay.
the Melchizedek priesthood was restored by Peter, James, and John.
Oh, okay.
Want to know some fun facts about Peter, James, and John?
Uh, yeah. Sure.
James's name isn't actually James.
What?
If you go to any other translation of the Old Testament or the New Testament, his name is Jacob. But when they were translating the Bible into English, the king was King James. And so they decided all of these people named Jacob, we're going to call them James in honor of King James. So
Really?
if you see Peter, James, and John in heaven, he'll be like, that's not my name. Don't call me James.
Interesting. Will he use that voice specifically?
It'll be more like a
That's not
zombie.
my name.
James who? You got the wrong guy. No, you're Peter, James, and John James. No, I'm not.
No.
Okay, 130 years ago this week,
Okay.
Brigham Young Jr. It's a long quote, so I won't read it all. But
Okay.
basically, some women approached him and asked him to run for governor of Utah. Some Democrats, and he said, "You know what? Some Republicans have been asking me the same thing." And he's like, "I'm unsure of my brethren's opinions, but my own is clear. I would never allow my name to be put forward by either party for president of the United States. Politics today seems a mix of good and bad, a dose of too drastic for an honest man to accept without being swayed by its prevailing spirit. Even good,
Oh.
honest men passionately champion party and slogans. But this isn't the calm, sober spirit of God. Instead, it turns high priests, 70s, elders, and teachers of the pure religion of the meek and lowly Jesus into howling maniacs."
Whoa, Mike Lee. Interesting. Interesting.
130 years ago, members of our church were like, politics is...
Howling maniacs. It turns the meek and lowly into howling maniacs.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to insult Brother Lee. I still quite enjoy him, but
What?
he did
What?
create a scandal for himself recently, a howling maniac type scandal. Yeah.
We should rename his Twitter account Howling Maniac.
Okay.
At Howling Maniac. I don't know. I don't follow him on Twitter. I just saw that story.
Listeners, please send your comments into This Week in Mormons. Contact at thisweekinmormons.com.
I don't think there are any Mike Lee supporters left that listen to this podcast. I think you're the only one, Melissa. No?
I think you're wrong.
I've read some of like the comments of the podcast. Some of the listeners got really... I don't know if we're like becoming a liberal podcast or something like that, but some listeners are like, don't be so political. Just so everybody
We're not
knows.
trying to be political, but how can you not draw the parallels? That was too obvious.
Okay, I'm going to skip the one about 30 years ago. Okay, 10 years ago this week. It just shocks me that it's been 10 years.
Okay.
Same-sex marriage was legalized in the United States, and the church read a letter talking about the church's position on marriage. 10 years ago.
What was the letter? Marriages between a man and a woman?
Yeah, and then they changed some of the language in temple ceremonies to make sure that it's clear that it's about lawful marriage between a man and a woman.
Interesting.
So that if there were any legal challenges to that doctrine.
Interesting.
But it also said, like, we respect the Supreme Court, we follow the law of the land, things like that.
Okay. All right.
That doesn't seem odd that it's been 10 years since that happened?
I feel like it's been longer than 10 years. I'm actually surprised that it's only been 10 years. Interesting. Okay.
Okay, well, hey, listener, we'd like to... Yeah, we want to encourage you to subscribe to This Week in Mormons on YouTube. Sometimes it's not enough just to hear us. You want to see us. And Melissa already talked about the interviews that we do. You can send us an email. Melissa already mentioned the emails. You can become a Patreon subscriber and get this content early.
Yeah.
But more than anything, we just want to thank you for listening to the original Mormon/Latter-day Saint news podcast. Thank you for making us the very best. We'll talk to you later.